every day you wake up, you're getting closer to an expiration date. And here's the kicker. You don't know when the expiration date is.
That's the scary part.
So every day is like, you know what? I need to go all in because tomorrow could be my last day. I don't know. But I'm going to go all in. But I think when people have that mentality, they'll move with urgency. But people are really lackadaisical. Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just do it next week, and turns to never. I set long-term goals. I set short-term goals. And I set daily goals. So that way I'm always accomplishing something. I may forget some stuff. I'm not perfect. But I'm knocking out a lot of goals. And I'm going to get ahead than the next person. A lot of times people say, yeah, you got to get up 3 a.m. You got to get up early in the morning.
Right. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that. Yeah.
You get up early.
I can't get up at 3, man. That's crazy.
But I say this to my team. If you are organized and you are consistent, you will beat the other person that's trying to move quick.
When you own your own business, you don't really have set hours a lot of times.
No.
It's like all the time you at work. You know, and sometimes it's hard to turn it off.
No, it is. It is. Your brain
it's like you can miss out on money if you do.
Nah, no. Because I know before you became an entrepreneur, you're like, man, I can't wait to be an entrepreneur. I could set my own hours, do what I want. But now you're entrepreneur, like, yo, right, I'm working 24/7.
Right. A lot of entrepreneurs work way more than someone working for someone else.
Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know, I think it's worth it to, be your own boss and, you're working towards something.
We in Miami, we in Miami, we in Miami, we in Miami.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Stunt Lifestyle, and you're watching the We in Miami podcast. And today we have a special guest on the We in Miami podcast. He's a successful entrepreneur, mentor, financial and credit strategist, a renowned public speaker and 7-figure Airbnb host. Welcome, my boy, Eugene Fan.
What up?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Good, man. Glad to have you here, man. But before we get into it, I got to ask you, where we at?
We in Miami.
We in Miami. Now, I should say welcome home. Were you born
back.
here?
Yeah, I was born here. Yeah, born and raised.
Okay, so you a Miami boy.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get to Tampa?
Ended up going to school out there, man. I went to graduated high school, went to college up there, and I've stayed ever since.
Okay. And now for the people that don't know, because I was recently watching a study, and it said that Florida was like a hot spot. Everyone across the country is moving here. But surprisingly, they said Tampa is actually getting more people moving there than Miami.
Yeah. It's like the second top growing cities. One for cost of living. It's cheaper, but it's like the next Miami now. A lot of people have been moving out there.
That's crazy.
Especially after the pandemic.
Right.
And everybody and their mama moving out there. Like, yo, go back. Go back.
Right.
Yeah, like, yo, slow down.
And it was the big Hurricane Milton was supposed to hit Tampa. Yeah. How did that go? Because I wasn't actually there. I was in Miami. How was the hurricane?
It wasn't for us. We didn't get hit that bad. Where I live, I kind of stay on the outskirts. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that bad. We got a lot of rain. Some places got wind, obviously. Some places got flooded. Mm-hmm. But for us, I think we got lucky. I think it hit Sarasota, Bradenton area. But we always miss it.
Because the mayor was like, I think I was a mayor. She said, if you stay in Tampa, you will die. That's a strong statement.
She was dramatic.
Man.
I'm like,
that's a strong statement.
I'm like, dang, she's scaring people. Like, people's leaving.
Right. Evacuating. I'm wondering, she going to have to come back and make a statement. Like, all right, you guys did. I would have just made a joke about her. Are y'all still alive? Something. So, but what's the difference between Tampa and Miami?
I would say, man, just the energy. I'm always back and forth here, Tampa, Miami. I got family that's over here. But I would say the energy, obviously the energy is here. A lot of people's moving and shaking. You know what I'm saying? Tampa's good too. It's like a nice place to live, good for family, things to do. It's not boring. I've been up there since 2008, so I've seen a lot of changes. Like it reminds me a little bit of Miami, but when you come back to Miami, it's the vibe, the energy. Mm-hmm. People always got something going on. You come down here, man, people's getting money down here. Right? You want people that motivate you. You come down here, you see Lamborghinis like Hondas.
That's true.
Everyone got one, but that means everybody getting money.
So it's not like that in Tampa. You don't see as many exotic cars.
You see exotic cars. You see some, but not as much as down here.
Much,
yeah.
So it's a lot of money in Tampa, though.
No, it is. Yeah, it is a lot of money in Tampa. Like old money in Tampa too.
So did you start getting money in Miami or not till you moved to Tampa?
I would say in Tampa, because Miami, once I graduated high school, I went straight to, college school and then worked a little bit. I worked for about maybe a year after college. And then after that, I got straight into business. So I started making my money in Tampa.
Right, right. And so what was life like growing up in Miami, man?
It was good. You know, it was good. I think I had a good childhood. Where I grew up at, I didn't grow up in the nice part, right? I grew up in, Miami Gardens. Before Miami Gardens, grew up in Little Haiti. Back then, it wasn't how it is now. Like, it was rough.
You Haitian?
Yeah, Haitian.
Okay.
Yeah. Ça passe to my Zos.
Ça passe.
Not boule. But yeah, so I grew
We had
up.
Zoe Dallas come on. I interviewed him a long time ago.
Nah,
Yeah.
dope. But yeah, so I grew up pretty good childhood. My family did the best. Unfortunately, my mom passed away when I was like 9 years old, so I had to grow up fast. To seeing my dad trying to make ends meet, working 2 jobs, and then for me, I was working since I was like working a job under the table since I was 13.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just so I could get some dollars in my pocket, give me some shoes here and there, and get my stuff. But I had to grow up fast, and that's why I was really motivated to really become successful.
And I noticed you told me you went to school in Tampa. Do you think that, because I've had a lot of different guests on that had different opinions on school. Do you think that, you graduating in with your college degree, do you think that helped you with your business?
Nah. I would say for me, no. And I'm not a person going to knock school and be like, yeah, don't go to college. It ain't not for you.
Right.
I know some people who are high school dropouts who are millionaires.
Right.
So going to school is not necessarily needed to become successful. Like society confused a lot of people, trick people. Be like, yeah, you got to go to school, go to college, be successful, live the American dream. I went that route. I was living the American nightmare. I'm like, yo, how I got 2 bachelor degrees and I'm still struggling. I'm still living paycheck to paycheck with 2 bachelors, doing social work. And that is literally 80% of America, right? Living paycheck to paycheck.
That's true.
With a college degree. I know some people got more degrees than the thermometer and still broke.
That's true.
But I know some people that have a college degree that's successful, but I don't think it's needed to really become successful.
That's true. So you made your money when you became an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got to get into that, guys. Make sure you take some notes. We're going to get into some really good things you need to learn tonight. So I suggest you stay tuned. But before we get into it, your business, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background, man? Like, how did you go from being a poor kid, growing up in a rough area, to being a successful entrepreneur?
Man, good question. And I would say, for me, a lot of times, sometimes people will shy away from their background. Like if it was really, really rough or bad. But for me, I think that kind of what made me where I'm at, made me who I am today. Mm-hmm. And it helped me become an entrepreneur because when I was going through the struggles growing up, seeing my dad going through the struggles, that motivated something in me. So, I was always looking for something to do. And, one thing was I didn't have fear. Because most people, they're afraid to start a business. Like, what? I don't want to become an entrepreneur. I'm just going to play it safe. Mm-hmm. And playing it safe, that equal being broke. Not all the time, but it's like, you got to take risks to be successful.
You got to take a risk.
Yeah, and I wasn't afraid to take risk. And I think that's what you need as an entrepreneur. You got to be willing to take risks. So I was always willing to take risks. When I realized this 9 to 5 was not going to cut it, I said, I'm going to take a risk and become an entrepreneur. And
so what was your first business? Did your first businesses fail or they first did good?
No, I think I did a lot of different things. I was selling at one point. I was selling cars. I think I was an entrepreneur since middle school. I was selling chips in middle school.
Yeah, selling candy.
Buying chips at the dollar store. At a corner store and then selling it in school. So that was my first business. I did okay, right?
Yeah.
But my very first business, surprisingly, man, I actually owned a car dealership. On the car dealership, but I was always selling cars on the side. Like when I was like kind of going through my last year in college, and I said, you know what? Like if this 9 to 5 don't work, I'm gonna go all in on this car business. So that's what I did. I save up like 6 months of saving, and I went all in on that business.
So you would buy like cars from the auction and flip them?
Yeah, buy from the auction, flip them. Buy it for like 3,000, flip it for like 5.
And I was looking at some of your other interviews. I saw where you spoke about how that kind of almost motivated you to get into the credit industry because being in the car industry, you got to see, how hard it was for people to be able to get approved for a loan for a vehicle. And you got to probably see some very, declining credit scores.
Yeah.
And is that like what piqued your interest with the credit?
Yeah, with the credit, that did. I kind of piqued my interest, with seeing people get denied for cars and things like that. And some of them did get approved. People get approved, but they get hit with high interest rates, 28%,
Yeah,
25%.
crazy, yeah.
And guess what? People take it.
They'll take
like,
it, yeah.
yo, like this is a high interest rate. Like, hey, I need to get placed. I need to take my kids to school.
I
need
had
to go to
one
work.
before, man. I had that 25% before back in the day.
You know, we all had
Crazy,
credit
yeah.
issues at one point. You know,
That
And
25% interest rate is crazy. What is the normal interest rate now?
I want to say it's about like 4 or 5%.
Right,
Yeah, at the average rate right now with good credit for a car is like 4 or 5% right now.
right.
You know, it's still some 20, 25%.
Mm-hmm.
People still get hit with those interest rates. But I think seeing people get denied and seeing people get hit with interest rate, that kind of instills something in me with credit. But the other thing too, what really jump started my business, because a lot of people have that mindset, I'm gonna do everything cash with my business. And I had the same mindset when I first started my business. I couldn't really grow it until I began to leverage credit. And once I understood like business credit and I was able to get lines of credit for the car business, I was able to scale my business really to do like 7 figures in revenue. And I realized the power of credit. I'm like, dang, like it would have took me a long time to do everything straight cash, but I could use other people's money to invest in my business to scale it quicker, pay them back, and then keep the profit. And I was like, you know what? Most people don't know about it. Like, think about it when you was in school. You didn't learn anything about credit.
They don't teach
Life
you.
insurance don't teach you that.
So, how did you learn it?
Man, making mistakes. You know, but I think also just having seeking for something, right? Because I think we could all learn, like with YouTube. You know, you could
Right,
get
you
in
can learn
rooms,
everything
go
on
to
YouTube,
different
yeah.
things that's going on, getting in rooms. So I wanted to learn it. 2016, I really dived into like credit, business credit, learned about life insurance. I just took a chance and I went to some conference actually in Atlanta. And I said, yo, I told my wife, I said, look, I'm going to go to this event. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to catch a flight. I just want to learn. It was talking about business credit, real estate, life insurance. I said, I'm just going to pull up and just learn.
Right,
But people got to want to learn. Most people, they don't want to learn. They want handouts.
right.
And it's like, bro, like
The knowledge is out there, man.
is out there.
Because, you know, being around a lot of wealthy moguls and interviewing different moguls, man, one thing that they all have in common, including yourself, is they always had that moment where they learn knowledge. Because you have to learn how to make money, man. It's not just something you just do. Like, you have to have knowledge. And speaking of that, too, we're going to get into it a little bit more later. I like the fact that you're empowering people as well. You got the knowledge and you became successful, and now you're empowering others.
And I always wanted to kind of give back to the community. You know, I've been an entrepreneur since I was full-time, 22 years old. You know, so I've been in this game for a long period of time, been through the ups and downs, the lows, the highs, but I learned a lot. And a lot of people don't have the information. They don't have the information about credit, business credit. Most people don't even have life insurance, which I think is important, you know, as an entrepreneur, as a person just in general, not even entrepreneur, life insurance. So, you know, I always want to kind of give back and educate people, you know, give them the game. Because a lot of people reach out to me, hit me up in my DMs or ask me questions like, you know what, let me put an event on for the city and like for the people. And it's like, you know what, I started my very first business in Tampa. You know, Miami raised me, but Tampa pays me right now.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what, let me put an event together. And we did it before. And I usually typically do it for, you know, our clients we work with, our mentees. But then I was like, you know what, let me open up to the public. And we've been doing it for years. And our first time we opened it to the public was July. And we got so much positive feedback. Like,
So your first Mastermind event was in July?
no, when we open up to the public, typically we just open it for our clients.
Oh,
For our
usually
mentees,
just private for the
private.
clients
Yeah,
only.
that's it. But then
But
we
now,
decided
so
open
this one's open to the public. Anyone can go.
anyone could go and just give them the information, right? So they can get a transformation. Because most people, they want something. They want a transformation, but they don't got the info.
Right.
They don't got the knowledge. So that's why, you know, when people get in the room, they leave out different. Like, we're giving you the game. Like, we're not holding nothing back. We're teaching you credit. We're teaching you business funding. We're teaching you how to set up your LLC. You're learning about life insurance, which is important. You're learning from other entrepreneurs who went through their mistakes and teaching you what not to do
Right.
and what to do to become successful. So in that room, like, yeah, people's life going to change.
Definitely. And so how can people be a part of it? How can they get a ticket to this event?
Yeah, so yeah, they could definitely tap in with me. You guys could follow me on IG to be able to get a ticket, or you could go to the teamlegacy.com/mastermind to be able to grab a ticket.
Nice. And with that being said, you know, you were the first person in your family to earn 7 figures, $1 million earnings. Were you also the first in your family to like graduate from college or go to college?
Not the first in my family. I want to say like first generation, but not the first. My brothers and sisters went to college.
Okay.
I would say I probably was one of the first ones that got 2 bachelors literally in 3 years. I graduated college in 3 years, in and out.
Dang.
you know.
But you're the first millionaire in your family?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
actually
wow.
in my immediate family. Like I'm actually the only one that's an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow.
I was that risk taker.
Yeah.
you know,
Is there a lot of pressure on you, like, being that example in the family?
it is. I think a lot of people overlook that as like, okay, well, you got to ease. Like, nah, you got a responsibility to maintain your success.
Mhm.
So you got to keep learning, you got to keep growing, and you got people depending on you. So there's a lot of pressure.
Right.
A lot of
So,
pressure.
so you didn't use your degrees though.
Nah, and I don't regret it. Because that college.
So people
experience-
respect it though, right?
Yeah. And I'm be real with you. I don't. If you go on my social media, most people don't know I got college degrees. Most people don't know I graduated from a 4-year university, USF in Tampa. I don't really talk about it.
What was your degree in?
I had a double major in criminology and sociology.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So if you was doing a 9 to 5 right now, what would you be doing?
for me, what I would be doing, like ironically, be real, like I wanted to kind of get into like the field you be like in like criminal justice detective.
Mhm.
Like initially, I went to school at my high school. I went to a tech school for like computers.
Mhm.
But my last year in college, and mind you, my mom passed when I was like 9 years old, right?
Right.
So my last year in college, like not last year in college, but my last year in high school, growing up in Miami, people was getting killed like left and right, like
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And something stuck out to me, like, man, people was dying senseless killings, like for what?
Right.
Like crazy, like people was getting shot for no reason. People dying for no reason. So I kind of like, you know what? Let me learn and tap into this field. So literally, once I got the college, I said I'm a major in criminology. I'm gonna tap into sociology, but I want to really get into something like dealing with like detective and stuff like that. Cause like, man, these senseless killings, like, like what's
Yeah, it's
going on?
crazy,
It
man.
was crazy, but it kind of resonated with me because my mom didn't die to like violence or anything like that. But it's like, yo, when you lose a loved one, you can't get them back.
Right. You can't.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't use it now.
That's real, man. And you also do a lot of other things too, man. I know you have a successful Airbnb business, and you're, obviously accredited and wealth strategist. What is your primary business? Like, what's your primary bread and butter?
I would say my main business is the Airbnb.
Okay.
The Airbnb is the main business.
Because
And
I know a lot of people, man, over the years, that's been one way that a lot of people dream to start an Airbnb business. I know friends that are telling me, yo, I want an Airbnb business. Even me, I thought about it like, yo, I need an Airbnb business. Can you tell us about that? Is the Airbnb business worth it?
yeah. It is. One thing I'm gonna say this, just be straight up, like it's not for everybody. Airbnb is not for everybody.
Right.
It may not be for you. You gotta be strong. Like,
And it's a lot of work.
It's
too.
a lot of work. Anything like worth having is gonna be working. Most people, they want to skip that part. Like, only thing I know that really works is doing the work. But a lot of people tapped into Airbnb.
That's
during
real.
the
You
pandemic.
said only thing I know that really works is doing the work.
Just doing the
That's-
work.
That's true, man.
It's just doing the work.
That's deep right there.
Most people want to skip that part. Let me get
Yeah.
straight to the money. Like, yo, we gotta do the work.
They think
Then-
like, all right, you get an Airbnb and that's it. Like, no, you talking
Nah.
maintenance, you talking
got-
all kind of stuff.
correct. You're running a real business, and most people skip that part. Once they fail, like, this you can't make no money in it. Because a lot of people tapped in during the pandemic, and then when stuff kind of even out, when stuff got difficult, they just threw in the towel and gave up. But me coming from a different business, being an entrepreneur for 10 plus years, you got to stick it through. You got to stay consistent. So,
Right.
getting into it is very easy. Maintaining it is work. So, get an LLC, go to different places and ask them, hey, do you allow short-term rental? And get the unit furnished, list it on Airbnb, and start, getting paid. But you got to run it like a business.
Right.
So one of the reasons why I got tapped into Airbnb is because I realized I could make quick cash flow. Because initially, prior to doing Airbnb, me and my wife owned a multifamily, and we was only collecting rent once a month.
Wow.
And if anything get damaged, in the property, we gotta fix it. We had to fix the bathroom one time. It cost like $2,000. We didn't make
Right.
no profit that month because after paying the mortgage, we collect rent. We only left with $300 in profit a month, collecting rent once a month. I'm like, yo, this ain't no money.
Right.
So when I learned about Airbnb, where you could charge daily, nightly, like a hotel, let's say you charge someone $300 a night, they stay with you, let's say, for 10 days, that's $3,000, right? They stay with you for 30 days, that's $9,000. So it's like, yo, like
it adds up.
it adds up, it's money. So it's like, once I see now, I say, let's go ahead and tap into it. But I have my mindset for the long term, long haul.
So how did you get into it, man? So you started out with one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just after that one started making money, you started another one.
Yeah. So initially, what I did, I was just doing a lot of research, learning about it, and I didn't want to get back into like multifamilies at the time because I'm like making the cash flows take too long and there's a lot of headaches. So I put money back into the business. When I got the first unit, I said the profit I'm going to make, I'm not going to blow it, because that's one most people mistakes they make is when they get some money, they blow it. And it's like, look, that money don't belong to you. Even whether any business you're doing, whether you're doing e-commerce or you're running a traditional business, the first profit you make, money you make, don't belong to you. You got to put money aside for taxes. You got to put money aside for, other emergencies and expenses, So I knew that, you know what, I'm going to put money back into the business. I'm not going to touch it. The profit we make, let's go ahead and get another Airbnb.
Right.
And that's how I was able to grow, because I already had a long-term vision prior to getting started. So what most people have to do, and this is real talk, anything, not just Airbnb, you got to have the end goal in mind.
Right.
When you tap into something, what's the end goal? Just like you have a successful podcast, you already thought about, hey, I'm in it for the long haul.
Right.
What is the end goal?
Right.
And most people don't have that in mind. It's like, all right, I'm going to do this, but
you're just doing whatever.
Yeah, just doing whatever.
Yeah.
So I put in my mind, like, you know what, we're going to grow this business. So when we first started,
that's smart, man. You got a lot of discipline.
But I'm a type of person I like to have delayed gratification. Most people, they want instant. They want all the shine and
right
now.
And that's what gets people in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's like
I admit I've been there before, man. And learning from your mistakes, you got to realize you got to be in it for the long run. Sometimes you got to make the decision to wait for that gratification. Wait until you've reinvested. Wait until you've made smart decisions with the money and built it up first. Some people just celebrating all the time for no reason.
Nah, like most people like, yo, you still struggling. What you celebrating?
Right. Honestly, man, even especially in our community, man, and I understand, it's a struggle for us and we go through a lot, and, a lot of times we need that outlet. But at the same time, man, we can't be celebrating all the time at the club. The amount of money that the black community spends at the club popping bottles is enough money to start a business.
That facts.
I'm talking a few days at the club, popping bottles, whatever, going to the gentleman's club, throwing money. Like, look, you could have started a business with that.
And then,
for real.
Yeah.
It's a ripoff. If you really think about it, the club industry buying a bottle for 10 times the price that it would be at a liquor store. Like they're selling a $50 bottle, $40 bottle for $500.
People buying, like, yo, you could get this.
Depending on the club, sometimes it might be $1,000 or
Yeah.
$2,000 or $3,000, depending on the caliber of the club. That's crazy, right?
The people want that, like, yo, I'm doing it, and it's
Mhm.
like, just for a couple hours of fun, you blowing thousands of dollars. You could put that into a business. You and your group of your friends put money together, come with a game plan, and put that into a business and grow it. But
what did you do when you first got your big check? Did you go out and blow it at the club? And
Nah,
you seem responsible, man. Like all right, you know what? I'm gonna take this check and I'm gonna reinvest it.
Like, ironically, I made some bad mistakes with my money, like bad investments. Like, we all have mistakes. I made some bad investments where I really hit the lowest point in business sometimes, where my very early part of my business career, I want to say like maybe second and third year, hit some very lows. I had to borrow money, from people like, hey, can I take care of this? I made some bad investments, but I learned from that mistake.
Right.
You got to learn from it. So it's like most people want to run away from failures or mistakes. But like, look, learn from mistake. Your mistake's gonna make you a lot of money.
That's true.
So I learned from a mistake. Like, you know what? I'm gonna save money, but I'm gonna put in good investments that I know that the likelihood of it working will work. But I'm also gonna have some emergency funds. So that's what I learned. That's what I do now. To be diligent with my money. But for me, like, I already did all that going out. Like,
right.
I went to college. So going to college, like, you
already
part,
did the party. Yeah,
I already got all that out my system.
So that's why you went to college. Now I'm playing.
I got all my system. I think one of my friends, one of my good homegirls, she used to work for me when I had my first business. And I linked up with her, and she's like, you don't drink? I'm like, nah. She's like, you don't smoke? I'm like, nah, man, you a square. I'm like, yo, I've been there, done that, man. And
you already did. Yeah, all that, man.
I did all that. So it's like, I've been locked in for a minute. Like, look, I'm locked in.
So how can someone start an Airbnb business for the people that don't know? I know you're going to give all this knowledge at your mastermind, and I know they can tap in with you, but just a brief summary. If I want to start an Airbnb business, how much money do I need, and how would I need to start?
Okay, so you don't need a lot of money to actually get started in the business. People can actually, leverage the bank money. But even then, even if people do use their money, you don't need a lot of it. Because, what I teach and what I show is the rental arbitrage method. Well, basically, you could rent a property under your business name. So number one is you want to get an LLC. Any business you start, you want to get a corporation. So it's not under your name personally. Get an LLC, get an EIN number. You can get that set up with your Secretary of State. Very simple to do. And then open up a business bank account. After that, you want to start calling, private landlords, owners. You can search these owners on Zillow.com, HotPads, or connect with a realtor and connect with the landlord. Like, hey, do you allow short-term rental where I'm able to use your property to sublet it and let other people stay there? You're going to get some no's, but it's law of average. Out of 10 people you call, you're probably going to get that one yes, where you have a motivated landlord say, yeah, rent it, don't damage my property, pay me my money that I want, whether it's $3,000 a month for that property, whatever it is, do your thing. You're going to find some owners like that. And then from there, you get professional, you furnish the unit. You could get business credit, right? If you got a 680 credit score, very simple to get business credit with a brand new LLC, easy access to $50K in funding. From there, use that money to cover the first and last month of the rent. So let's say the rent is $3,000. You just pay first and last month, $6,000. You furnish it. Let's say it costs $4,000. You all in only $10,000. Typically, the traditional way of real estate, you either got to get a mortgage. So either you put in 50, tens of $1,000 down to buy the property, and then you rent it, and you're only making maybe $500 profit, if that. But with Airbnb, you can make profit anywhere between minimum $2,000 to $5,000. I have a mentee at one point, she did $10,000 in profit in 1 month off of property. So
basically, you can really start your Airbnb business with about $10,000.
Yeah, $10,000 and $15,000.
10, 15. And like you said, one of your mentees made that back in 1 month. So how many mentees do you have?
We have over active. I'm gonna say we have over 70.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 70 active mentees, but
that's a lot.
We teach thousands.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, do you have people that you personally mentor as far as like they can ride around with you and get real personal, or is it more like a class?
It's a group. Yeah, they can't do.
You don't do like a personal.
No, we do group. So it's like group settings.
Group setting, okay.
Yeah.
But that's different from the mastermind.
Yeah, different from the mastermind.
You have a different program for people who want to.
Yeah, they want to tap in more. We have a group setting. Typically that works well, so we do group coaching.
And how much is that?
It varies, depending on what tier they're in. But one thing with, our program that I want it to be different. I don't want to be like, okay, well, it's just Airbnb. We're covering credit. We're covering business funding. We're covering the mindset. So people could really get a transformation, because I tell people when it comes to business, it's not just about making money. It's about the person you become. Mm-hmm. So before you get to the money, you got to become a different person.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure prior to you getting started where you're at right now, you're a completely different person.
That's true,
than
man.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
So people have to really understand you got to become a different person to become successful. You got to believe you're successful already before it happens.
That's true. So Airbnb's been doing this thing. Now, how does your credit and wealth strategy business work?
So what we do, main thing we used to do at one point where we help a lot of people with their credit. So if you got negative items, we'll help you with your credit. And that way you could position yourself, either get a house, car. Credit is needed for everything. Even jobs, they're looking at your credit. If you get in a certain career, like, hey, what's your credit score? So we help people with their credit, build their credit up. And then from there, if you need to get access to business funding, our team will help you get access to business funding. If you have your LLC or you need help setting up your LLC, our team will help you with that. Then we'll help you qualify for funding. And then
so they actually can get with you, and you set them up. You help set up their business. You help get them funding and everything.
Yeah. So that way, like if people, they get into our program, sometimes they have to come out the pocket, because we're helping them get funding. Now to put that funding, invest the money, not blow it. Not like, hey, I'm popping bottles or I'm at, I'm at Gucci. I got some credit. Nah,
right.
You get that money, you invest it.
You put it into something that's going to make
you money, and then spend a little bit of the drip money
right.
to buy stuff you want, but invest the money, get the profit, and spend a little bit of the drip money. So we help you from A to Z. So that way now they're getting help every step of the way.
That's smart, man. I might need to join your thing. So tell us about Team Legacy.
Yeah. So Team Legacy, for me, because a lot of people, they got this thing, they want to become rich now. They want wealth. All that stuff is great. We want to enjoy life. We want to enjoy money now.
Right.
Because when we pass away, you can't take the money with you. Make the money now. Get rich now.
Right.
But, for me, I'm really all about the long haul. So it's about leaving a legacy for your last name. What would you be known for?
Right.
Impact that you made. So that's what we call our group Team Legacy. It's about leaving a legacy.
That's
When
true.
you're gone, you passed away, what would you be known for? What would I be known for? So that's why our group and our culture and our community is really long-term vision. Yeah, long-term.
Long term, man. Stop thinking about right now, man. You got to think about the future. This time go by so quick. I feel like 2024 went by so quick. It's already about to be 2025. We got 2 more months in this year. Isn't that crazy?
That's it. And it's like, yo, we just started. We just started 2024. Like, yo,
Right.
slow down. You know what I'm saying? So that right there motivate me. Like, yo, I got no time to waste. Like, I got to get moving. It's like
Life is short. Too,
Life is
man.
short.
You got to really, these years go by so quick, man. When you look back and at all the time you spent wasting time. I mean, we all waste time. Some people waste more time than others. And you look back, you can't get that time back.
nah.
You got to really start locking in with your future and what you want to do, man. Like, if you want to start an Airbnb business, if you want to start any business and you want to get your credit together and you want to be able to get a loan, there's knowledge out here for you. And you can contact people like Eugene that can help you and empower you. I recommend you spend your money on investments, something that can make you money back. And that starts with knowledge.
Nah, yeah, facts. I think you hit it on the head. I think when we realize, or when people realize, like when I realized this, my mentor says this, like every day you wake up, you're getting closer to an expiration date. And here's the kicker. You don't know when the expiration date is. So
That's the
it's
scary part.
So every day is like, you know what? I need to go all in because tomorrow can be my last day. I don't know. But I'm going to go all in. But I think when people have that mentality, they'll move with urgency. But people are really lackadaisical. Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just do it next week. And turns to never. I'll just do it next year.
Right. They say, like, whatever you can do today, do it today. Don't save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, don't save it for tomorrow. If you can do it today, knock it out today. So for me.
And we all procrastinate, man. Like, some more than others. Me, I tend to have a procrastination problem. I'm going to be honest. You got to admit the problem. I procrastinate. What advice do you give for procrastination, man? Because that's one of the main things that can really make businesses take longer to reach their potential is procrastination. Like you said, saving something for tomorrow that you could do today.
Mm-hmm. I think we all struggle with it. Even with me, I may struggle with some things while I procrastinate. But one thing that helps me is seeing it. I can remember saying, like, when I was young, I always hear this, out of sight, out of mind. So if you don't see it, you can be like, no, I'm going to do this, and you just forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you write things down, the likelihood of you getting that task done or goal done will happen. So for me, every day, I do it to this day. Like, I brought my bag in here, I got a notebook.
Write it down.
Every day I have a goal, write it down. Like, I can write down what it is I'm doing today. I have to write it down. I can put it on my phone notes, but I like to write it down, see it, and like, okay, I'm going to get this done. So
That's
always
smart.
do that. Always do this. I set long-term goals. I set short-term goals, and I set daily goals. So that way I'm always accomplishing something. I may forget some stuff. I'm not perfect, but I'm knocking out a lot of goals. And I'm
That's
going to
smart.
get ahead than the next person. A lot of times people say, yeah, you got to get up 3 a.m. You got to get up early in the morning.
Right. Yeah, I hear a
You know
lot of
what I'm
people say that.
saying?
Yeah.
You get up early.
I can't get up at 3, man. That's crazy.
But I say this to my team. If you are organized and you are consistent, you will beat the other person that's trying to move quick. Because if
true.
they're not unorganized, now you're going to beat them.
That's so true. So what he said is very important. Write it down. So you got to write down your daily goals and your long-term goals. Every day, make a to-do list because your chances of getting it done. If you're just working off your brain, like going through the day, yeah, I'm going to get something done, you're not going to get it all
You're
done.
gonna get
man.
so many distractions, especially in Miami.
Yeah, especially in
Dude,
Miami.
I'm like, yo,
You
Go
looking
back to
out
the
your
crib.
window, it's
I
so
need to go to the-
beautiful outside.
I need to go to the crib. I'm going
Yeah.
down. I'm walking down the strip. Brick. I'm like, yo, I need to go back. Man.
Right.
Too many distractions down here. You ain't gonna get nothing done.
You know, they say that honestly, man, about Miami. A lot of people that left Miami and moved to Cali, man, they told me that they couldn't get no work done down here. They said that Miami is a party city, and it's hard to get work done in Miami, and it's true.
Yeah.
It is true. But there is a way to capitalize off of that too, even in the nightlife industry, entertainment. A lot of successful entertainment brands, a lot of successful restaurants and clubs and stuff down here. So it's a way to tap into that. It's a lot of different ways to get money. But they say you move to Miami after you've already made your money too. A lot of people do that now. But you know, Miami, they're saying all the billionaires are moving here.
Oh, to Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons is because of taxes,
Mm-hmm.
especially from California. It's like you getting hit with 2 taxes. You getting hit. They taxing you. They hitting you. They with no Vaseline, boy. Got like California. like
Yeah, they hitting you
they-
hard.
no Vaseline. Like
No baby oil or nothing.
yo. But I don't blame them. A lot of people are leaving California, going to Texas, going to Florida, coming to Miami. It's like, you know, you got a beautiful life, nice weather. You're not getting hit with 2 taxes.
So what's your biggest struggle as an entrepreneur?
I would say, man, that's a great question. I would say as an entrepreneur, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this, is the balance. You know, I'm married with 2 kids, 2 beautiful kids, married, and just find that balance, that work-life balance. You know, making sure I'm present, you know, for them, but making sure that, hey, I'm locked in because, you know, with business is like a war. So every day I wake up, I got to go to war. I got to bring the meat home for the family. You know, but then I also got to position myself where I have to be present. Well, I don't want to feel like, man, I'm working too much. They feel like I'm not around, you know?
So balance.
Yeah, that balance.
I agree.
Yeah.
Balance is important, man. Like, because when you own your own business, you don't really have set hours a lot of times.
No.
It's like all the time you at work. You know, and sometimes it's hard to turn it off.
No, it is. It is. Your
'Cause
brain
it's like
keep
you can
thinking,
miss out
thinking,
on
thinking.
money if you do.
Nah, no. Because I know when sometimes when before you became an entrepreneur, you're like, man, I can't wait to be an entrepreneur. I could set my own hours, do what I want. But now you're an entrepreneur, like, yo, I'm
Right,
working
yeah.
24/7.
Right. A lot of entrepreneurs work way more than someone working for someone else.
Mm-hmm. But
So
I
work
wouldn't
don't
trade it
stop.
for the world. You know, I think it's worth it to you know, be your own boss and, you know, you're working towards something. It's like, hey, you're building your empire instead of building somebody else's empire.
So what advice would you give someone who is, you know, working a 9 to 5 and they say, look, I want to try to invest some of this money that I make at work, you know, after I get my bills paid. Because you got to realize, man, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, but they might have a little extra. Like, what advice would you give them? Like, try to put a certain amount aside and invest it, or like, what would you recommend?
Yeah, great question. So I think, you know, well, number one is, very first thing is don't quit your job to become a full-time entrepreneur. You get an idea like, oh, this person
Some people
doing this.
quit too early.
They quit too
Yeah,
early.
I've seen that.
And it's like, now you stuck because your business got to pick up. You got to go through your mistakes. You got to go through the process. Don't quit your job right away. Build up at least 6 to 12 months of savings. You know, so that way you got money set aside. If anything goes wrong, you still got money to cover your bills and expenses, and you're not going to be homeless. That's number one.
Right.
And then invest your money wisely. Don't put all your money, your life savings into an investment. So I'll say start off, if you're looking to get into Airbnb or a new business, start off with one Airbnb, then grow that, learn and go through the mistakes, and then get another one and then grow it. And once you get to replace your income, your current job income, and then you got 6 months of saving, give that boss the deuces. Give that
So
job deuces.
after
and be like-
6 to 8 months of savings.
and you're able to replace your job income with your business
Mm-hmm.
that you have. Like you're making, if you're making $5,000 a month at your job and you're able to replace that income, you're making what, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month with your business.
Mm-hmm.
Time for you to walk away.
Right. So, you know so much, man. Do you have a mentor?
Plenty of mentors.
So you got mentors too.
Yeah. Gots to. You know, you got to be student to the game.
Yeah.
You got to be learning all the time because stuff changes. You want to, in the Bible, and this was sticking with me today. It was like, it says, a wise man seek counsel.
That's true.
You know,
Because a lot of people, man, and I know people that don't want to take advice from anyone. Like, you got the biggest, most successful people have a team and a board of advisors. If you think you have all the answers and don't seek counsel, like you said, like the Bible says, you really gonna make a lot of bad decisions that you could have avoided.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of times people think they know everything. Oh, I know everything already. It's like, nah, well, get some advice. Learn from somebody else. And that comes with being humble. So for me, you know, I always been like that. You know, ironically, funny story, true story. You know, growing up, most people, when I was growing up, my family thought I was going to have like speech delay or speech issues or whatever because I wasn't speaking. I just wasn't speaking early when I was like 3 years old. I wasn't speaking that much.
Right.
But I was just probably just a good listener.
Yeah.
So growing up, I'm always a good listener. So most people, when they get in the room, they're doing the most talking.
They're not listening. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're missing out on gems. You're missing out on game because you're not asking questions and listen. My mentor says this: sometimes you got to know how to shut up and listen and get advice, get game, and like, okay, let me implement.
Y'all
this.
hear that? And ladies too. Sometimes y'all got to learn how to shut up and listen
That's it.
because knowledge is power.
That's it.
So, do you think like your faith has played a role in your success?
Yeah, 1,000%. When you go through those lows, you got nothing but your faith to hold on to. And I think because every entrepreneur, man, you got to have some faith. You got to believe in what you're doing. Because if you don't believe in what you're doing, it ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe that you're gonna become successful, it's not gonna work. So the very first thing is you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that's gonna work, but you got to have faith.
Right.
So yeah, I think faith really got me where I'm at today and then where we're going for the future. So you got to have that faith.
But you know, sometimes I talk to a lot of people, man, and they be like, "Oh, I don't have no faith because I only believe what I can see." And a lot of the most successful people, man, they've said they almost have to be a little bit delusional when it comes to their belief system because what they're trying to do is so out of the norm, especially for their family or their circumstances, that nobody around you is going to believe it's going to be possible.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have people that even love you that try to discourage you and tell you, hey, and they might be doing it out of love because that's all they know. Hey, just take the safe route.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those people who don't have faith?
Borrow somebody else's faith.
Right.
Yeah, borrow somebody else's belief. I always say this, like if you don't have the belief yet, borrow somebody else's belief. Borrow my belief.
Right.
Until you raise your confidence. That's number one. Raise your confidence.
Right.
You know, sometimes we got to have that serious conversation with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing you mentioned, I think is important, is we got to know how to cut out the noise.
Mm-hmm.
If you got your family saying this not going to work, just cut them out. You know, you got to have that type of faith and believe in what you got going on that's going to work. You got to be that delusional. Just like you said, delusional. People think you crazy. Oh, a person think they're going to become successful, be an entrepreneur. Let them think that you're crazy. And then when it happened, who's the crazy one? They the crazy one.
Mm-hmm. They be like, dang, I always knew you could do it.
You know, and that's real. Because even with my pops, my dad, he was like, when I first quit my job at 22 to be a full-time entrepreneur, he was like, what the heck are you doing?
Right.
Go get your job back.
He didn't believe in you.
He didn't believe it at first. I'm like, and my mind had to think like, yo, like I respect you, pops, but you was struggling working a job. If I do the same thing you do, what's gonna happen for me? In my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be in the same boat you was in. I'm like, nah, I'm straight. I'm gonna go ahead and take my chances. If it works, it works. So you just gotta, just like believe in yourself. You gotta be crazy enough. Like, you know what, this gonna work. Entrepreneurs, we're crazy.
That's real.
We're crazy because what we
true,
do,
though.
we're doing stuff that's risky. Like, yo, crazy. We're saying things that we're gonna make happen that we don't see yet, but we have the belief, and people are like, oh, that person crazy. But when it comes to reality, there's like, okay, who's the crazy one? But you gotta have that faith
That's
in
real.
business.
And you have a scripture on your social media that says, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
So I like that scripture because in the Bible it says, "Man without vision will perish." And one thing I realized, and I'm not a Bible scholar, I'm not a theologist, but that's my belief, and I'm a believer, and I believe God. Number one, people are visual; they want to see stuff. Like I want to see you successful. I want to see you drive a nice car. I want to see this. I want to see this, so they can believe it first, right? So in the Bible, Jesus did so many miracles for what? To show people that he was the Messiah.
Right.
So some people had the belief.
Right.
Not all, even though people seen the miracles he did, not all of them had the belief. They still, you're not the Messiah.
Right.
They still didn't believe, even though he did miracles. He raised the dead. He turned someone blind to be able to see. So he said, man without vision will perish. Because if you don't have the vision, where you're going,
right,
you got to have somewhere you're going. If you don't believe that, hey, I'm going somewhere, what's going to motivate you? Nothing.
Right.
So
That's
for
true.
me, it's like I have a vision of where I'm going, and that's something I have something to hold on to. I'm motivated because when I was at the lowest point of my life, when I was broke, I remember one time I was so broke, man, I asked my next door neighbor, hey, can I borrow some money? At one point. That's how broke I was.
Right.
But I still was excited about life because I had a vision. Like one day, I'm going to be successful. I'm not going to be like
you
this
were the
again.
same person whether you was broke or rich.
That's it.
You still had the same mentality.
That's it.
And that's why I tell people too, man, you got to have the same mentality no matter what you have at the moment. You got to focus on who you really are and what you are going to achieve, man. If you focus on that, then you can really achieve these things. You have to become it before you become it.
Mm-hmm.
You can. So once you do get successful, it's more money, more problems too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think it's just a walk in the park. Once you get money, it's more pressure. It's more people trying to take your money. It's more fake people. You know what I'm saying? So you becoming a millionaire, how do you deal with fake people and how do you deal with the pressure of having success and money?
I think number one is like dealing with people. You got to have discernment. You can't hang around everybody. Can't talk to everybody. And I think also, I always heard this is money is going to be a reflection of who you are already. So when you get more money, it's going to be a reflection of you. If it's a person like to give back to the community, you like to give, even though you didn't have it, when you get money, you're going to give. You're going to bless people. But if you're that person that didn't care about helping people, when you get money and you're just greedy, like you're going to be even more greedy. Nothing's going to change. For me, I always remain humble. Like, yo, I'm going to give back. And there's a lot of things that I do that I don't broadcast on social media. Like, oh, I'm giving money here. I'm giving money here. Like, I don't need to do all that.
Right.
Because that's not the reason why I'm doing it. So for me, I always stay level-headed and remain humble. And I think that kind of helped me for me not to do anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then also I think for me, me being married, I think, me being married, having kids, having a family, I'm going to be less likely to make mistakes. Not saying that's going to be the case for everyone, but for me, it's like, hey, I'm not going to be doing all this crazy stuff for my money because I'm settled, I'm locked in, I'm doing, So that kind of helps me stay level for what I'm doing, and I'm not doing like a whole bunch of craziness and nonsense.
Well, the truth is, most successful entrepreneurs are married, man. If you really look at it, So what made you decide to settle down and get married? Like, when did you get locked in? When did you get married? Like recently or?
Nah, years ago. I got married 2016.
Okay.
Married 2016.
What do you think made you like marry her? Because, me, man, I've been in the game a long time. I had a lot of different relationships. How do you know when that person is worthy of being your wife?
I think, getting to know that person. If you guys got the same principle and morals, and, both of you guys have a vision that you guys looking to build, if you have a connection with that person, you see something long term, then it's like, okay. So for me, like I said, I did all my stuff in college, and when I was single, I did my stuff, like I was in the streets, like they say, I was in the streets.
Right.
And I got to a point where I made a decision that I wanted to lock in. I said, I wanted to lock in like on my future. Like, hey, this is what I'm looking to build. And I didn't want to be going out to the club every weekend and hanging out. So I got to a point where I said, man, I'm looking to settle down. I just want to chill. So when I meet someone, I don't want them looking to be, hey, I want to go to the club every weekend, do this. So when I got connected with her, with my wife, then she was like kind of in the same mindset. Look, I'm looking to build, lock in, focus on my career, school, what she was doing at the time. And for me, one of the things I told her, I said, look, like, understand that I want to become an entrepreneur, and I'm probably gonna have some lows, and I'm gonna be locked in working so many hours to build this business that I'm building. So most women, they want your attention 24/7, and I say, look, I may not be getting his attention 24/7 because I'm building something, I'm working, I'm grinding.
She understood that,
and she understood that. Most women, they want to go out, like, oh, I want to go to a day, I want to go to dinner, I want to watch a movie, I want to go hang out, I want to do this. You know, I'm like, she was cool with it. I'm like, okay,
but when
cool.
you met her, like, was she outside?
Nah, she wasn't. Nah, she was, going to school, working, she wasn't outside like that. So like, okay, cool.
So she was already how you wanted her to be, or did you? Because, I recently had a guest and he was talking about how when you meet a woman, she may not be how you want her to be. You have to like mold her, like a guy before you may have not wanted what you wanted. You have to mold her into what you want her to be. Do you believe that's true, or you think it's better to meet someone who is already molded into like the type of person you want?
I think it could go both ways. Not saying that you can't mold that person to be the person that you want. And nobody's gonna be perfect. Like, I ain't perfect. Nobody's gonna be perfect. But sometimes if you find someone that's on the same page as you, I think that will work better. Because sometimes we have the tendency to think that we could change people. You see those crazy relationships that you're gonna change somebody. That ain't gonna happen. I can remember I was in a crazy relationship prior to my wife. And I'm like, I can't change this person. This person is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing I could do could change that person.
So you've been there in the past when you tried to change
people?
Yeah,
it's like, yo, like, I don't want that.
It never worked?
Yeah, it ain't worked. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't want to deal with the craziness. Like, I'm good, So I think it could go both ways, but to change people is difficult. Like, it's very difficult to change people.
So you wouldn't recommend trying to like mold a person into what you want?
Nah. Let them grow, because people grow. People change. But it's like on their time. God could change people, but people got to decide that they want to change at the end of the day. So,
do you think social media has ruined relationships?
Yeah, 1000%. Yeah. Caused a lot of breakups.
Why do you think that?
You go on social media, all the women almost naked.
Right.
Right. They're almost naked. But I think besides that, I think is a lot of people giving a whole bunch of relationship advice that shouldn't, on social media.
But on the naked tip, do you feel like girls these days over sexualize themselves on Instagram?
Yes. Why
do you think that is, man? Because like that, it puzzles me, man. Like things have changed, like they just show it all now. Like even the clothes now is made differently. Like the clothes that they make now that are popular, the dresses that the girls wear, the dresses now, they literally are see-through and they have a thong that they wear. And so the dress in the back is see-through and you see that whole ass now with the thong showing. These are the clothes that are popular now.
Wow.
Like, when did this happen, man? Like, this shit puzzles me because it's like, really nothing is left to the imagination anymore.
No, not no more. No,
everyone is over-sexualizing themselves on social media.
They show everything,
And I'm not one of them podcasts that try to bash women and tell women what they should do. But listen, we're men here. And this is a man that is married and has a wife. And so us single people need to listen to him because it's some people who got this shit right, man. So why do you think this generation over sexualizes themselves?
I think it's because number one, they get their attention, but I think industries and companies know this because sex sells. Let's be real.
Yeah,
sex sells. That's how it was back in the day. It sells, but everything's out and open now, and it's like it's the norm now. It's part of the culture.
Right.
It's the norm, But I think women they just like the attention, and I think guys giving attention. Back in the day, when social media, we had MySpace.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember MySpace.
MySpace, you had your top 10 friends. and this regular picture. You guys just send messages, and
it wasn't that much. It wasn't that crazy.
It wasn't that crazy. When Facebook came out, it was really for college people and blah blah blah. Now it's just all right. Let me show my outfit. Let me show this, and And the industries know that. So now you have content creators dressed up like this, and the other women are buying the clothes because they see it on this other lady on IG. So now this is a business. Now it's okay, let me give more attention to this because that's what sells.
Right. And you know, the thing about it is a lot of girls who do over sexualize themselves on social media may not even be freaks.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Because let's be honest, there are a lot of girls who could wear the turtleneck and they might be a bigger freak than the girl who wears the revealing outfit. But it's not always about what you really are on. Sometimes it's about the way people perceive you too. Because if you be perceived like that and you attract that attention, then what you're gonna have is mostly guys lusting over you. They just want to fuck.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but they just want to sleep with you.
That's it.
They may not respect you, or they may not see you as wife material simply with how you present yourself. So what you want to do is present yourself in a way that you receive the type of attention you want out of life. Like we were saying, listen, life is short. So you gotta ask yourself, what do you want? What kind of attention do you want? What kind of man do you want? What kind of man do you want to attract? Because at the same time, if you want a good man that really respects you, there's certain things he not gonna put up with.
Nah, it's facts. That's true. That's true.
Would you be cool like with your wife over sexualizing herself on Instagram photos?
Nah.
You want her to, you know, be classy,
Yeah.
and respectable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I think that you brought a great point. That it's about how you be perceived, you know. And I think it could go both ways because sometimes men could just, you know, okay, I see she dressed this way. I'm going to go ahead and hit on her this way,
right?
Because she's dressed like this, and it's like that's probably ain't the case, you know. So
she might be a good girl, but she just following the trends.
Yeah,
and the
so
trend
it's like,
is,
yeah. So it's like, you know, even as guys, so men have to know like, okay, well, she's dressed like this. Well, I can't perceive this all the time, but you know, it's all about perception. People, they see you the first time, they're gonna have a thought, right? They judge a book by a cover. They say don't judge a book by a cover, but we do it.
Right. That's real, man. And I really commend you and respect you for, you know, taking nothing and turning it into something, you know, here and empowering so many people and doing things like your mastermind class and your mentorships. You're not just keeping the knowledge to yourself. You're actually empowering people. And I really commend that, man. I want to give a round of applause to that for real.
No, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And other than your business mastermind event coming up in Tampa on November 15th, what else is on the horizon for you?
I want to say that's what we got going on. Just the mastermind, and we just you know, giving the game, impacting a lot of people. You know, people want to tap in with me. I do give a lot of free info where you guys can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Eugene06. Follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Eugene Fan. I get a lot of free game.
Right.
Free game, a lot of free information. So you guys can follow my page, get free game, tap in and get going. You know, I had one of our youngest clients. He was only 23 years old at the time. He got all the free game from me. He set up his LLC. He built up his credit to 800 credit score.
Dang.
Got over 100K in business funding. Launches on Airbnb, off the game, free game.
Crazy.
He was only 23, 24.
That's wild, man. You heard it. Y'all need to join his program, man. That's wild. So what advice would you give any aspiring young entrepreneurs that want to start a business?
I would say start right away. Fail fast. Right? A lot of times people, you know, not people, but, you know, society have you going to college, then get a job. Then if I could do everything all over again as a graduate in high school, I'll start business right away. You know, because I would make those mistakes. I would have became successful much faster. I probably would have been a whole different level. And we're in a day and age right now. You have to pay attention. I want you guys to listen to this right here. Pay attention if you're watching this.
Listen.
We are in the biggest wealth transfer than we ever seen. When I first got started in business full time, 2012, it wasn't like this online game. It was brick and mortar. You had to really get in the field, right? Get in the trenches. Now it's online. You got a phone. You got no choice but make money, you know.
Right on the phone.
When a wealth transfer. So a lot of ways, if you look right now, there's a lot of people like you and me that's successful now.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? We could walk into rooms, we could do different things. Guess what? Now we can make money.
That's true.
But then you have some people that are not paying attention. They still doing the old ways, exchanging time for money.
You gotta tap into the new way.
You gotta tap into a new way. You gotta pay attention. Don't get left behind. So understand when a wealth transfer. Either you're gonna get left behind or you're gonna get in the game. There's no in between.
That's true.
Get in the game.
Round of applause to that, man. That's real right there, for real. So, what is your vision for your legacy? It's my last question to you, man.
I love that question. My vision for my legacy, I want my kids, my generation to be good because of the work that I put in right now. And, I tell my wife this, I tell people this, like, look, I'm playing a long-term game. And if you look at any real successful people, look at Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. These individuals are building wealth and building a legacy, not just through their current businesses, but through real estate. Through real estate. Make your money, whatever business you're doing, but get into real estate because that's something you could pass down. That is something people's always going to need. And with real estate, not only you can make money, but you can save on taxes as well, too.
So many tax breaks.
Yeah, so many tax breaks with real estate. So for me, my end goal is like I want to get a whole bunch of apartments, right? Because now I have cash flow, I got tax breaks, and I can pass that down to my kids. Right. So that's my legacy that I want to build, where we're building generations of wealth, but we're building it for our last name and leaving a legacy.
That's real. That's real, man. Round of applause to that. Round of applause to that. Make sure you guys follow my boy Eugene. Go to his website. Sign up for the mastermind class. Sign up for the mentorship program. And at the very least, educate yourself. Gain knowledge on how to gain wealth. And really lock in, man. Write down your dreams. Write down your goals. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with positive environments. And you can make it too. You can become a millionaire too. Just like Eugene, from nothing to something, man. For real.
1,000%.
Hey, man, well, I appreciate you coming out to the show. I'm really proud of you, man. Keep doing your thing, representing for everyone. And before we get out of here, I got to ask you, where we at?
We in Miami.
We in Miami.
Let's go.